everyone, my name is Payanna and welcome to my book club. And today I thought I'd do something a bit different and give you another story time video because I did one a while back, over a year ago I think, about this job that I'd had in a bookshop back in the day when I was still working in bookshops. And after that I tried to work just as an ordinary commercial employee, but it didn't really work out. And the last time I ever applied for a job as a commercial employee was in October 2019. So I thought I'd tell you that story. So I'm in this kind of, not really a job center, but it's like a center for people who are trying to get a different career, basically trying to do a different job. And occasionally the staff there will like look up job offers and they'll keep abreast of job offers, and they'll come and offer us something. And the lady who was looking after my case back then came in one day and said, "Do you know anything about Harry Potter?" And I said, "Girl, I live and breathe Harry Potter." So she said, "Good, because there's a lady who's just done this announcement on the radio that she's going to open a Harry Potter themed shop and that she's looking for commercial employees." Okay, now at this point I should point out that I live in France and this shop opened, I'm not going to tell you where it was, but so this is like a French shop, a French person. Okay, and one of the things she was specifically looking for in her employees was someone who spoke English, because what she wanted to do was get the actors of Harry Potter to come to the shop and do signing sessions, which she actually did do, I think. I know at least 2 came. I can't remember who they were, but I'll look it up. But yeah, I know at least 2 came. So she had this pretty cool idea of doing a Harry Potter themed shop, getting the actors to come over for like signing sessions and discussions. And yeah, so I made this CV, which was like Harry Potter themed. I think I put a sorting hat in the corner and like brooms on it or stuff like that. And wrote one letter in French and one in English to kind of show her that I can speak English, and sent them off to this lady. And about an hour later, she called me and said, "I've got the 2 people I need for the Harry Potter shop, but I don't have a manager." And she asked me if I'd be interested in being a manager of this shop. And I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then she said she wanted me to be the manager of the Harry Potter shop, but she was also going to open a goth shop, like a goth clothes shop. So she asked me, did I know anything about goth culture? And I was like, "Girl, I live and breathe goth culture and Harry Potter. I'm the perfect person for this job." So she said, "Okay, great. Come over to the shop and, for a job interview, and we'll see how it goes." Okay. So I went over to this job interview. Now, bearing in mind that when I do my makeup, this is pretty much the only thing I know how to do. So this is like what my makeup looked like. I think it was like white on the eyelids and like black on the outside. I was wearing these boots that had like laced up boots, but I'd replaced the laces with ribbons, like blue and black ribbons. I was wearing a skirt that just came just above my knees, and a jacket. I can't remember if it was a punk rave jacket or another jacket, but like it was black. It's what my dad described as professional goth. Okay. And my hair was blue back then. So I had the thing is, I wait quite a while before I bleach my roots when I dye my hair. So my roots are about 10, maybe 12 centimeters long, and the rest of my hair was blue. And I didn't try and hide that. I think I tied my hair up, but I didn't, like, you could see that it was blue. And quite a lot of it was blue. And so I went to meet this lady, and she'd seemed pretty nice on the phone. We talked for quite a long time on the phone. We talked about a quarter of an hour, I think. So I met her. I was surprised by how old she was. She was in her 60s. I'm going to call her Mrs. Whitehead at this point. So she explained what she wanted to do. She was opening the Harry Potter shop, so that was being like set up. Everyone was putting the shelves up. It was ready to open for, like, this was Thursday. I think it was opening on the next Monday. Okay. And the Goth shop, we were actually in the Goth shop. And so she said, okay, the Harry Potter shop, the Goth shop, and then she wanted to open another shop, a lingerie shop. Okay. And she explained to me what she expected of her employees. And she told me that I shouldn't wear, like, street clothes to work. I could only wear Goth clothes, because she wanted employees to reflect, like, the nature of the shop, which is understandable. And then she said that she didn't mind that my hair was blue. She said I could dye my hair any color I wanted. It didn't matter to her, so yay! And she started talking about other employees that she'd had that hadn't really worked out. Like one girl who came to the job interview dressed as a goth, and then when she came to work, she just wore like tracksuits or whatever. And then she told me, then it got a bit dark, this interview. It got a bit dark. Like, she told me about how she expected us to be in the shop, like, keep it clean and whatnot. Like, at this point, I've been working in shops for about 7 years, I think. So I know how to work in a shop. But it got really dark because she told me about this other girl that she'd employed. And this other girl, because what she said was, you know, if we need a day off or if we want to take a day off to go to a concert or something, that we could tell her and ask her, and she would always say yes, but we had to ask her first, okay? And then she told me this story about this girl who had rang up one day to tell her she was sick and she'd taken 2 days off work. Only later on she'd found out that she hadn't been sick at all. She'd taken 2 days off work to go to see a show. So I can see why, like, that this girl had lied to her. But then what she told me was that what she did after that was she essentially harassed this employee. And she actually said, I made her life a living hell until she resigned, which is what I think is called constructive dismissal, and it's illegal. So, okay, the girl lied about why she was taking time off work. That's not okay, I understand that, but going as far as harassing her to the point where her job is just such a living nightmare that she has to leave, that's not okay at all. So, yeah, I thought it was really odd that she was being really open about this story, and I started wondering, are you another Mrs. Lunatic? Are you the same as her? And the thing was, she then gave me the job there and then in the interview, which is also what Mrs. Lunatic had done. And in my experience, whenever that's happened, it hasn't ended well. So I was really happy because I had a job, but I was also kind of had this nagging feeling in the back of my head that, is there something going on? So anyway, she introduced me to my co-workers, the guy who was going to be working in the Goth shop with me, because she told me she didn't want me to be manager, but she wanted me to work as a commercial employee in the Goth shop. So I was like, yeah, okay, fine. So she introduced me to the guy I was going to be working with and the 2 people that were going to be working in the Harry Potter shop. And obviously, like, they were all new to this, like, they hadn't been, you know, doing this for very long. Okay, So I went off and really kind of pleased that I was going to get a job. Okay, the Harry Potter shop opened, and the Goth shop, she said it was gonna, like, there's gonna be 2 weeks until it opened. So 2 weeks went by, and I didn't get any news from this woman. I'd sent her some documents that she'd asked for, and you know, I didn't hear back from her. I ended up calling her, and she told me that, you know, it was still on. I was, you know, she was still wanted me for the job. Okay. And then, you know, time goes by, and she's told me that she wanted me to go back to the shop and see her again before the Goth shop opened. Okay. So one day I decided to go down to the mall where these shops were going to be and see her like she wanted. And the thing was, the Harry Potter shop had opened at this point, and the reviews for it online were a bit odd. And I spoke to someone who'd been there, and this is a person who wasn't a Harry Potter fan at all, someone who just doesn't get fantasy, doesn't like that kind of thing. But even she, who wasn't expecting anything from this shop, was disappointed when she saw it. She told me it was like the whitest, brightest shop in the entire mall, that it was empty, that the staff were really, like, not rude, but unpleasant, like they weren't smiling or anything, they just looked miserable. And I looked up online to see what other people thought, and those were pretty much the things that were coming in. The staff were unpleasant, the shop was empty, and it was all white and sparkly, which really wasn't what you would hope for when you were going to a Harry Potter shop. So I went there, and that was pretty much my feeling as well. There was just nothing in the shop. There was like a really big spaces between the hangers, and everything was really overpriced. I felt that. I mean, I know that like this was official Harry Potter merch, and it's gonna be a bit pricey, but for what it was, like, there was a t-shirt I wanted to buy, this Ravenclaw t-shirt, and the material was just really thin. The t-shirt wasn't like, the style of it wasn't that great, and the design like felt really kind of plasticky on it, and that was like 35 euros, and I was like, there's no way I'm paying 35 euros even for that. Like, I will put money into clothes if I know they're gonna be good and like good quality, but this wasn't worth it. And like, yeah, the shop was just white and bright, and there was like a couple of stuff up on the walls. I think there was like a platform 9 3/4 flag and like a Hogwarts flag, but that was it. And everything was just white, and you didn't kind of feel like you were in a Harry Potter themed shop. You just felt like you were in a very badly organized random clothes shop. And also the staff looked miserable. And I did wonder if they were miserable because Mrs. Whitehead was making them miserable, just making their lives hell, even though like she wasn't supposed to, because technically they hadn't done anything wrong. So I thought, wow, if this is how her regular employees behave when she's around, what's it like when she really does try and make someone's life hell? Like, it was a bit scary. I mean, obviously I don't know the truth behind it, but that's kind of what was coming to my mind when I saw these people. So she wasn't in the shop. I went and did some shopping in the mall and came back later on. Now, on that day, again, makeup pretty much the same as this. My hair, the only difference was my hair. I bleached my roots at this point, and my hair was this kind of weird teal greenish colour. I tried to dye it turquoise, but it had gone a bit wrong, so it wasn't the colour I was hoping for. I actually bought hair dye at the mall and then managed to get it the colour I wanted. But so there was that, and I was actually wearing street clothes technically, but they were black. I was wearing just a normal pair of bell-bottom trousers that were black, and I had this big cardigan on, which was also black, so I wasn't wearing anything outlandish. And so yeah, that's what I looked like when I went to see her. And when she saw me, she said, "Oh, you can't work in my shop looking like that. Your clothes are not okay. You need to wear street clothes." Despite the fact she told me that I was not to wear street clothes under any circumstances in her shop. So she completely did a U-turn on that. And then she started talking about my hair and saying my hair is not okay. I should dye my hair a normal colour, despite the fact she told me that she didn't mind my hair and I could dye it any colour I wanted, which I pointed out to her. And then she said, "Oh yeah, but I meant a normal colour, like brown or blonde, but not like that, not like shades of blue or whatever." No, that's not what you said, but whatever. And then she kept going on about my hair, and I said, "Look, I've worked in shops before, in non-goth shops, and the clients always received my look really well. They thought my hair was amazing, they really loved it, they thought my clothes were really cool. I got a lot of compliments about the way I looked in newsagents and bookshops, and this is at an actual goth shop." And so I explained this to her. I said, "Look, no one cares. It's not going to shock anyone." And she kept going on and on about the rockabilly people as well, because this shop, it was supposed to have a rockabilly section. I know rockabilly people. They dye their hair weirder colours than me. It just felt so odd that she didn't even know the clientele she was supposed to be aiming for. That's how this conversation felt. And I'd actually seen another goth in the mall, and she had her hair was split. It was bright pumpkin orange on one side and black on the other. And I was like, there's no way that people like that are going to be shocked by this. Is all the colours all come out, but my normal hair, my normal multicoloured hair. And then she said the weirdest thing. She said, "Oh yeah, but it's not about the clients. I don't care what they think. It's about me personally. I'm shocked by it." Okay, so you're the kind of person who is willing to take money from alternative style people like me, but you're not willing to employ them. That's called hypocrisy. And then she said, "If you want to work in my shop, you've got to dye your hair a normal colour." And I was like, "You're just such a hypocrite." And I walked out absolutely certain that she was another version of Mrs. Lunatic. And the only thing was, Mrs. Lunatic was consistent in her weird ideas. She had really creepy and insane ideas about running her shop, and so did the employees who worshipped her. But at least she was consistent with them. She didn't change her mind. But this, Mrs. Whitehead just did. She just did a complete U-turn, and then, a lot of people I've spoken to thought it might have been some kind of weird pretext for not hiring me. I don't know. I'm not very good at, understanding what people's intentions are. But I just walked out the shop and thought, if that's what you're like, I don't want to work for you. I don't want to work for you. And with Mrs. Lunatic, when I walked out of her shop, I thought, I'm giving you 2 years. It's going to be 2 years before you have to close. And she lasted 3. And the same thing here. Mrs. Whitehead, I thought, I'm giving you maybe 1 year. So then I just went back to my life, and nothing exciting happened. And then the virus went on, and I was stuck at home. And while I was stuck at home, the lady from the work course center, she would call us regularly. She'd call us about once a week to ask us how we were doing and if we needed anything. And one day she called me and she said, "I need to tell you what happened to the Harry Potter shop." because and what happened to Mrs. Whitehead, because I didn't go out of my way to kind of look any of this up. I just didn't care anymore. But what happened was, shortly before the virus happened, I think it was in February, by which time I'd moved on to like other career choices. Apparently she just got up one day and left and gave no explanation. So the shops closed very shortly after they'd opened, and I dread to think what happened to the poor, like her poor employees who were working there. I hope that they were compensated, but given the profile of this person, they probably weren't. So once again, I was right. Her shop didn't last very long. It lasted a total of 4 months before it closed, and I'm actually quite pleased I didn't get a job there, because that's how it would have ended in, I'm just getting fired shortly after being hired. So yeah, I think it's a bit sad really to just kind of go to all that effort and just get up and leave one day. I mean, it's difficult for me to judge because obviously I don't know what happened. I've tried to look this up, and apart from one article saying that she just left with no explanation, that's it. There's no explanation given anywhere for why she just abandoned her projects. But all in all, I feel like quite grateful that she turned me down, because I feel like I escaped something pretty nasty. So now I've moved on to a completely different career project, which hopefully I'll be able to start a course in September and put the world of working in commerce behind me, because I really don't want to work in any kind of retail anymore. It just, yeah, I've had too many bad experiences. I don't even want to work in bookshops anymore for a number of reasons. And so yeah, hopefully I can put all this world behind me. So that's it for this kind of weird story time video, I guess, of my last ever experience of a job interview in the world of retail, which I have now put behind me. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't hesitate to like and comment. Please subscribe to my channel. I make videos about books at least once a week. If you're lucky, you might get 2 or even 3 videos in a week. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.